WRTJ Detroit, a listener-supported radio service.
Welcome to the first ever episode of the Sprocketnoggins podcast. On today's episode, introducing this show, what it is, who we are, and why we are here. And as kickoff approaches, what are our final thoughts, expectations, and predictions for what we will soon know as Reefscape, presented by Haas. So without further ado, your hosts, Alan and Eli.
Am I Sprocket or are you Noggin?
What? I'll be Noggin, alright?
Okay, I'll be Sprocket.
No.
Guys, we're getting off topic and it's only been like 10 seconds. We
Okay.
should have like a spring sound effect when he says Sprocket.
I'm Alan, one of your hosts for the Sprocketnoggins podcast, and this is a podcast that accompanies our Open Alliance thread. So this is for just extra detail, extra Gearheads fun alongside our Open Alliance with all the information. We'll try and make this as frequent of a thing as possible, but build season gets pretty hectic and nothing goes to schedule.
Although we will be aiming for weekly episodes releasing on Sundays. That is tentative.
So, Sir Jack, what is on the agenda for tonight?
Okay, so on the agenda, first we have finding out who both of you are as the hosts of this show. So what are your journeys through First and Gearheads, and what has led you both to where you are now?
Eli, would you like to go first?
Oh.
Okay, so I started, I'm a senior. I'm Alan. I started robotics back in 7th grade, team 7045. I've been on the Gearheads since freshman year. Working on, I'm mainly a builder guy, but I go around and do other stuff too when necessary or when needed. I am one of the code team captains this year, alongside Sir Jack.
I'm Eli. I've been involved with First since 6th grade. I was on 7045 Blown Fuses. I am a sophomore in high school, so this is my second year. We're going into my second year on the Gearheads. I mainly work with build team. I did a little bit with media last year. That's about my journey so far in FRC.
So let's get into our next topic of discussion, Kickoff, which is now merely a few hours away. What are our final thoughts before Reefscape, presented by Haas, is revealed at noon on the 4th of January?
I'm not going to get my 12 hours of beauty sleep, but what I'm thinking right now is Reefscape, I'm guessing it's going to be a pick and place, personally. Because the past couple of years, they've alternated shooting, pick and place, shooting. Shooting. Well, they did shooting, pick and place, shooting. So I want to say it's going to be a pick and place. Yeah.
Pick and place just feels right for next year because based on the theming, which is reefs, typically you're not shooting things around in a reef. It's more of, I'd imagine it's going to be more precise in what they're trying to do, just because reefs are very delicate ecosystems, and I'd imagine they're going to try to build off of that for the theming.
Yeah.
One more thing to note is that official scorer is a volunteer role this season, and that is really only there when there are pick and place games, when the automated scoring isn't part of the field. So that is another clue to consider when determining what the game is going to be.
That's true. What do you guys feel about the end game? What's your guys' prediction on end game type?
I don't know. I don't do predictions. I just kind of go with the flow.
I think it's going to be a stair game. We haven't seen one of those in a few years.
Can you enlighten me? What's a stair game? Is it just you go upstairs?
You go upstairs. You know how there's the classic hang? Like,
Yeah. When was the last time they did a stair game? I don't know. I don't think I've seen that.
It's got to be 2019, right?
2019
I
had
think
the
so.
teeter-totter, I thought. No, yeah.
Oh, I thought that was 2018.
No. Remember when we played at Kettering off season? That had a teeter-totter. I still have the top of the teeter-totter in my room. I can't remember off the top of my head. So it's been a while. That's why.
Yeah, they were running Infinite Recharge at that event. Yeah, I'm looking at the field right now for Deep Space. Yeah, that one did have a bit of a staircase endgame.
Oh, so it was 2019? Oh, I was thinking 2020, wasn't I? Okay. All those years just mixed together. And I was barely conscious. But we haven't had it in, 5 years?
Yeah, before any current students were involved.
That's why I think it's going to be a stair endgame.
Any predictions about game pieces, though?
Water bottle.
Isn't one of them like a really common item? Like they might not even put it in the game kit. I remember that. I haven't really.
Well, they're going to include them, but there's one of them is going to be. I believe the wording was a ubiquitous item in the U.S.
That's why I feel it's a water bottle. Because
Maybe a milk carton.
could be a milk carton. My prediction is the theme of the game is going to be a pick and place where you're cleaning the ocean. You're cleaning the reefs, right? So if it's like a water bottle or some kind of trash, that would make sense. And then
Yeah.
I don't know how the climb adds in or the stairs add in. That could be going back to the ship or going back to the boat out of the water after you clean the
It could be
reefs.
like
We might get points in auto from going down it to go into
Indian's
the
probably
water.
going to be themed around like going back up to the surface.
Yeah,
I like
surfacing. I feel. What's your guys'
Yeah.
prediction for auto? Last year's game is going to be a hard one to beat because last year's
that. I
was
feel like everyone says that every year.
yeah, but
You guys said that last year at Kickoff as well. You were like, oh, last year's game's going to be a hard one to beat. And then the game gets revealed and you're like, okay. And then we get to the end of the season, you're like, oh, and this game's going to be a hard one to beat.
well,
It's called
I remember-
recency bias.
at the beginning of Charged Up, I remember thinking the game was going to be boring to watch. But then once we actually got to an event, it was not boring to watch.
Everyone was so hard on Charged Up at Kickoff,
Yeah.
and
Is
people
everyone-
came around.
Everyone at kickoff was like, "Oh, there's a point cap. There's this." But once it actually started, and they realized how hard that point cap was to get to, they much more appreciated
Yeah.
the game. I feel.
And then you just supercharge the nodes.
Yeah.
You know, supercharging.
They totally didn't recycle that and reframe it as, what was it, last year? Cool. No, Competition was different. Competition was really weird. Now that I'm thinking back on that. Just kind of a random feature. Like, I get what they were going for it, but
Yeah, definitely an interesting
choice.
game mechanic there.
I liked it. No, honestly, I forgot about Competition like halfway through because it was just kind of everyone hit it, and if you didn't, you're just either in, you're already
wasn't-
past the point where you needed to get rank points, or you were.
There was a tactical reason not to hit it at certain points, but overall there wasn't really a tactical reason not to hit it. Like in general. In specifics, yeah, but not hitting it only hurts your opponent. It doesn't help you. Do you think we're gonna see a return of a competition?
On a Competition-esque like element, there's definitely going to be another variation of Charged Up or Amplifying returning this year because they just seem to love that feature. But I don't know about the Competition. It's probably going to make a return because didn't they trademark that phrase?
I do not know.
Probably.
It seems like such a random phrase, and it seems like someone first would totally jump on the train of trying to get a trademark of like immediately, and then they'd have to use it. Otherwise,
Dean's a big fan of that one.
Yeah.
Dean Kamen.
And with that, I think we have predicted all that we are going to predict today.
Don't forget your
What?
bingo cards at Kickoff.
Oh yes, Kickoff Bingo. Kickoff Bingo. A great time.
Kickoff
But we
bingo.
will see you all after Kickoff on Sunday with our first real episode of this podcast. I think it is time for this episode of the Sprocketnoggins podcast to come to an end. It has been great speaking to all of you, and we wish you a happy kickoff. And we'll see you back here on Sunday for a breakdown of what we were able to discover on kickoff and where we are headed next.